Yo, mic check, Nate. I wasn't talking, bro, but let me know if you can hear me now. 3 minutes till news drops, and the indices are looking very bearish, even though they're still bullish in terms of structure, but they definitely seem bearish right now. All right, cool. So, again, the main plays are Euro USD and dollar CAD. All right, waiting for Euro USD to do a sweep of the previous day low as well as the previous week low, and possibly one of these swing lows, most likely this one, right? But just waiting for a dip down to have price sweep this, and then I'm just looking for some nice bullish pressure coming out of that. Once we get that, then I'll be buying. Now, like everything, that might not happen, right? We might not get the sweep. We might push down just a little bit and then start to take off, right? But regardless, I am looking to buy Euro USD and sell USD CAD. So USD CAD is just a little different. I'm expecting a push up, right, into maybe this particular fair value gap in yesterday's Asian session, or uh, just the sweep of the previous day high before we get the drop, right? Again, a lot of times you get manipulation before the actual move. So that's what I'm looking for. 1 minute left on news. And then, of course, dollar is still bearish, right? I expect the dollar to sweep the previous day high, the previous week high, and possibly the swing high, right? Maybe even tap into supply. Either way, I'm just going to sit on my hands as the news unfolds and see how the dollar reacts, and then I'll be looking to get into my buy or sell opportunities. See, already dollar CAD is falling, right? So it's just pushing down first. When it does that, I just want to, it makes me just want to sell it because I feel like I'm going to miss out on the move. And this is typically where FOMO kicks in for a lot of traders, right? But being a veteran, I know that even though we're pushing down and we may get, a major push down, we may miss out on some pips. The way market moves, right, it will push down and then retrace, right? So I'll be looking for that retracement to get in basically around the same area that price took off, all right? So you can see alerts going off, right? Dollar CAD, dollar, 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 and there it is, dollars falling. All right, so this seems like it's enough, right? But this is the 4-hour candle, so we want to take it down to the 5-minute, okay? And we can see that the Asian high has been taken, all right, here, and then the London high has also been taken. So we're just getting this massive push down, taking out the low of London, and we took out the low of the Asian session. So liquidity has been swept on both sides. And now we just need to determine what is the trend, right? And clearly on the dollar here, we are bearish. So I'm just going to be patient and look at what happens in the next 3 minutes or so, with this index, all right? But ultimately, we are looking to sell. So again, dollar CAD push, but it retraced, right? And this is on a 2-hour time frame. So we go to a lower time frame, and we see that it did exactly what the dollar did. Swept out the low of London, the low of the Asian session, and still just kind of messing around at the moment. So if it closes below yesterday, low, right? If we get the body to close below, that means that we're definitely going to be, we should definitely be bearish, right? We're just going to get that retracement up, and then we'll start to fall once again. All right, so 2 minutes on the clock. And I know this is super close, right? Did a nice sweep. Basically retested the high of yesterday that it broke, right? So it broke it here, pushed up, retested, retest. But now we're getting a bullish engulfing candle coming off of this fair value gap. So this is what's making euro look very good for a buy, right? But I can see how, sometimes, it'll do this, but then it'll kind of give some nasty little wick and then kind of come up, because this is still, imbalanced a little bit, right? Just because it didn't really go deep enough into it. But that doesn't really matter. Sometimes it can just tap it like this and then take off. All right. So you just have to take your chances, knowing that you want to place your stop losses behind the lowest points, right? So 1 minute and some change, but it's going to take a little bit for the dust to settle. So maybe another 10 minutes or so. Typically it's like an hour. So within an hour, you'll know exactly, what the market wants to do. All the manipulation should be over by then, and then you should have a clear view. All right. So looking at it like this, you can clearly see that, there's a lot of indecision, right? Push down, push up, right? Pushing down again. It's just how it goes. So on the indices, right, as much as I said they look bearish, I knew that we were going to take out previous day high, and we did that just now. So we can still continue to rise, but we'll see. Nas also took out the previous day high, so it's getting closer to completing all the buy side liquidity, right? And then when that's done, we should head to get sell side liquidity. All right, US 30 is also swept last week's high as well as yesterday's high. So all this indicates is that it wants to go higher. Okay, and how high, who knows? But we just gotta, play this out. But since the dollar's bearish, this may be worth taking a position like this and getting yourself a nice 1 or 2, catch 627 points. All right. And maybe same for Nas, maybe a position like this. Okay. And catch you 386 points to the swing high. All right. And SPY, again, it just continue, but not really looking to trade these because they've gone super high, right? So I just kind of feel like I'm chasing, even though I know it can still rise, right? It's just a decision that I've, chosen to make on not trading these today, all right? But definitely euro dollar, all right? And dollar cat, right? So again, you see how it was doing all that push down before, and if you would have sold, you would have been down right now, because it is retraced and going back in the range of yesterday. So that tells me, right, we're not quite ready to sell it yet, okay? Meaning we may go take out that FVG, maybe the previous day's high, and then do a drop, all right? So, again, just need a little patience with this for the market to show its hand, right, fully, right, without the manipulation. And once you see that, then you can make your move. All right. put an alert on EU for when it starts to rise. Silver has ran up, gold has ran up, and again looking still pretty bullish at the moment. And dollar is now pushing up. Okay, so we're going to see if it kind of gets deeper within this fair value gap or potentially sweep the previous day and the previous week's high. All right, so get some alerts on the dollar. All right, any pair you guys want to take a look at, let me know. Okay, let's take a look at the Russell. Okay, the way it looks here off the daily and even off of the weekly is very, very bullish. All right, so you guys can see the structure right from way down here, but we'll just go from, maybe here, run, pull back, run, pull back, and we're on the run phase currently. All right, so we definitely don't want to buy on that run phase because it's already pushed up high. All right, you want to wait for that retracement. As you can see, we're kind of creating this fair value gap here off the daily, right? So you'll want some sort of retracement into that to look for your buying opportunity. All right, but that's the main thing, is that we are in a uptrend, so we want to be looking for buys. It's looking like it's breaking above the high from last week, which again just states that, price wants to go higher. All right, looking at it from the daily, like, yeah, we just broke above that high. Now, not necessarily that we closed above it, but we definitely pushed above it so far. So again, we would definitely want to get to a lower time frame and get more details to see, where we can get some sort of entry from. And the way that it's looking right now is hugging that previous day high super tight. So whenever I see price kind of consolidate at a high or a low, typically, right, typically I'll see it break through, right? So you may be able to get away with a position like this, right? And just have a very tight stop behind the consolidation and, do yourself a 1 or 2, right? That's pretty good. But we're at the top of that consolidation, so not the best, right? You'll want to have a situation where you're getting in at the low of that consolidation. So you'd rather see price come down to the bottom of the consolidation, right? And then there is where you would take your position, right? With the super tight stop, or clearly you can see to the left, there's a fair value gap sitting right beneath it. Okay, so you can take that into consideration. This is a bit of a higher low that was created. So it was protected, if you will, meaning you have a demand area in this same zone. Okay. So you could probably put your position there, right? But I think in the middle is best, right? Because it typically gets at least halfway in the fair value gap, right? And if this is a protected swing, then you should be safe having your stop loss behind it. Definitely still give it a little wiggle room, right? Because again, a little fair value gap here, but ultimately this looks very bullish, but you want to see it at least come down to the FVG first and then try to buy it from there. You don't have to wait for that. You can clearly put a buy limit order in that position, right? If it looks good to you, right? Take it this way, and there is your 1 to 2. So easy 14 points it looks like. All right, only risking about 6 points on that particular position. All right, so something like this may be how you want to play the Russell, but you know, you may also like get to a lower time frame and try to catch that retracement or that correction down to these areas, right? Because it is super high. So this may reverse, right? There's possible, like taking out the previous day high, right? Is that, you know, hunt for the buy side liquidity. Well, where's the sell side? The sell side is below the previous day low. So again, this could turn bearish, right? As you can see, or I mentioned when we were looking at the structure, we were very bullish, right? Um, off those higher time frames. So in your run, your pullback, uh, is your pullback again, and then another run. So it's just kind of expected of some sort of pullback, right? You can see that we broke structure here, right? So once we got above that, and we're creating that new high right now, right? It doesn't, you know, this was it, and now we swept it. So again, potential for this to go both ways, all right? But you know, because it hasn't shown us that it's had a change to go to the downside, then we just want to stick with our buying opportunities, right? We want to get into buy positions until it shows us that it wants to start falling. And to answer that question, how will we know? Well, when price gets below this so-called protected low, right? When price drops below that, okay, now we've had a shift, right, from our uptrend structure, right, to down, right? Again, this, you know, you're probably thinking about this high, I mean this low as well, and it's very possible, right? This may not be the low, but it definitely broke above this high as well as this high. So it is a strong low. So if we break below that, then we'll have that change to where you can just look for a retracement back to the area that it broke, and then from there look for your selling opportunity. And you can kind of see with that markup that we kind of have like a head and shoulders, left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, which is a bearish reversal chart pattern, right? So then at that point, you'll be good to go for, you know, seeing the Russell fall. All right. So tell me what you think about that, and what were your predictions on it. Not sure how to pronounce your name, so let me know how to pronounce your name as well. Okay, So dollar's just playing around. Yep. Euro, dollar, and CAD, or dollar CAD doing the same thing. All right, Joma. Okay. Yes, yes. Um, okay, so you were looking to buy, I'm assuming. Uh, you're just waiting on that retracement to that FVG that I mentioned or that demand area, is that right? Got it, got it. So, yeah, I mean, see now SPY is looking more bearish, right? Swept that previous day high. Nas, same thing, swept the high. And US 30 again swept the high. So as much as, we could probably still, have a buying opportunity on these indices because the dollar looks bearish. These indices don't really look bullish, right? They definitely have done a lot of pushing up, right? All the way from, December, right? Mid-December, we've done a major push up to now we've gotten to this previous swing in early December, as well as this supply area in early November, right? So, and possible to kind of just get up there and take out that high because we're already heading in that direction, right? So it's not off the table, but coming into this major supply, sweeping this high, things like that typically would invoke some sort of consolidation or reversal, right? So, or even, retracement. So just looking at this a little in detail, I can see that on NAS, we took out the previous week's high, right? But we were closing back within that weekly range, right? And if it actually closes, in the next 8 hours, within that weekly range, then I'm expecting price to go and take out the low of that week or the low of that previous day, right? Which will be, somewhere down here. For right now, this is the lowest, that price is going on as for today, right? But, you know, this is all just kind of unfolding slowly, right? And I don't have change of character necessarily, right, to sell, right, NAS, SPY, or US 30. So definitely will want to see that where it most likely will be, man, it's super hard to say because this is truly the only low that pushed up and broke these highs, right? So then to get the change to where price will be bearish, I'll need to see price fall below that low, right? And man, that's just, waiting for it to do that, we're missing money, right? We're missing out. Well, that's a 335-point move to, give us an official change of character on the 1 hour time frame on NAS. So, when I see things like that, um, I prefer to just take my chances, right? It's a nice wick. So I'll do something like this, and that's about 83 points that I'm risking, but looking to make 350, right? That is, you know, an option, if you will, right? That way you can take advantage of the potential change of character that it could have on NAS. But, um, doing that, you just have to understand that you are going against the grain, right? You're trying to catch the retracement, right, that it can have because this is, a little engineered liquidity. We have this huge fair value gap, and then this is also your demand area sitting down here. So going down is just to, sweep this liquidity, balance this fair value gap, or mitigate that demand area, and then potentially, continue to rise. So it's very, you know, tricky, or, just risky rather, to try to take that sell, because we're still up, right? Price can rise from any one of those points of interest. It can sweep this, go up. It can come down to the FEG, go up. It can push down to demand and go up. It can even take out the previous day's low and then shoot up, right? So that's a lot of, what ifs, or, possible scenarios that it can do, um, before continue to rise. So just going against that, right? You just have to know, that you're going against it, right? And again, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, right? This could turn into a full reversal, right? Where it just keeps dropping and dropping. But, you'll never really know unless, you've taken your risks. But, I did make a video about this previously where I was talking about, what can happen, uh, and taking that chance, but then also taking that chance with confirmation, right? So taking it with confirmation or without confirmation, you have that option. But this will be one of those that is without confirmation, that price actually wants to fall, right? Once price gets below here, that means we actually want to fall, right? But if it doesn't, then that we're still bullish, right? So decisions you got to make, but that's just how it goes. So getting back to the dollar, and yeah, guys, I think we're going to play around for probably, till 9:30 when the stock market opens, and then from there we're definitely going to be able to see what it's going to be on these indices, all right, and as well as these majors. But nothing's going to change for my bias at the moment, which is bearish on the dollar, right? Bullish on euro dollar, and bearish on dollar CAD. All right, so show you guys bird's eye view, right? Definitely just see potential retracement, right? A little deeper, possibly taking out the previous day high, possibly tapping into supply, right? So I'm expecting something like this, boom, and then kabam, bam, 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 right? That's what I'm looking for on dollar CAD. On euro dollar, right, I'll be looking for the same thing, just in the opposite direction. All right, so I'm looking for, let me get rid of Fibonacci for a second. Okay, hopefully you guys can see this good. All right, but on euro dollar, I'm expecting a drop, all right, and then a little play, potentially a sweep, right, and then we break above that bit of a high, do one more retracement, and then we're off to the races to take out the previous week high. Okay, so something along this lines for euro dollar, right? And then again, something along these lines for dollar CAD. All right, but just know, this may or may not happen today, right? Because we do have PPI coming out tomorrow. So maybe CPI wasn't really strong enough. It didn't really do too much, right? In terms of movement or volatility on the charts this morning. So maybe it can be delayed for PPI news tomorrow, which I will be live for as well. So tune in. All right. But that's where we may end up catching these particular plays, right? Today is more of a setup and, kind of test the waters, see how things are reacting to CPI, right? And then tomorrow with PPI may very well set things ablaze. All right. So, um, I want to open it up for, any questions or comments, anything you guys may want to know about, Forex in general, or if there's any other pairs you guys would like to take a look at, let me know as we are nearing the top of the hour. And, I'll have to go. But yeah, so far, what do you guys think? Pound dollar is also a good setup, but wanted to get lower first. 148 pips on the table. Dollar CHF, also another good setup. Would like it to go a little deeper into the fair value gap and then aim for the lows. JPY still is having difficulty finding a floor, so it's been bleeding still, but soon and very soon we'll get some sort of retracement or correction to where the JPY rises, and we'll have some selling opportunities on our JPY pairs. See, they're running out of steam just a little bit, and soon. So yeah, CHF JPY is definitely looking like it's about to give a retracement, right? I like the pattern of a potential evening star here on CHF JPY. Euro JPY has created a bit of a high point. Okay, so there's potential there. GJ, same thing. NZD JPY, same thing. And look at the massive move up, just tremendous. All right, so GJ, NJ, EJ, all massive moves up, all have seemed to have found a ceiling for now. All right, CHF JPY, same deal, but we will need to give it some time, as JPY still looks extremely bearish, right? Consolidating right now, which is a good thing because it tells us there's, some indecision at this area to where we could potentially reverse and start to go up, and we'll, at that point have great selling opportunities on these JPY pairs. And JPY pairs do numbers, in case you guys don't know. So yeah, breaking, looks like we're going to sweep this, and then we'll have a potential opportunity for anywhere from 80 to 180 pips. Yeah, I'll say the same for probably every JPY pair. A little more on CHF JPY. But yes, guys, if there's no questions, comments, or concerns, I will bid you guys adieu. Here goes Euro USD, of course, right when we want to exit. And yeah, it's looking nice. But again, this is all just a push up for now. So we want to give it just a little bit more time to give us some sort of drop. All right. Again, we could miss out on not buying it right here, right? So just know that if you feel like you're going to miss out, take it like this, have your stop below this swing, right? So in case there's any manipulation, you're still good. And then you aim for the tippy top, right? At least a 1 or 2, right? You got to do yourself some justice on your position. That's 127 pips. It's nearing a swing high here to the left, right? So that is a pretty decent position, right? 63 pips for 127. All right, you can do it like that if you want to buy it now. But again, I'm looking for that push down further, possibly taking out this low before we take it. And we may not get that until tomorrow. But once 9:30 comes around, we'll know for sure, how things are going to play out, at least, a little more, and then, we can play it from there. But yeah, guys, appreciate y'all rocking with me this morning. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, share the channel with your friends and family, let them know that they can get educated and get to it as well. All right. But yeah, guys, enjoy the coffee or tea, and I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. All right. It's your boy. Peace.